In college algebra, we introduced systems of three variable equations. In this first example, we want to just show that this coordinate is a solution for all three equations. And anytime you see a three variable coordinate, it's x, y, z. And we start out nice and easy, just plug in those three numbers to the three variables. So I'm going to plug in all three of those. It's very easy to mess this up, so take it slow. And that's enough work for me. 10 minus 1 is 9. Let's check the second equation. And those look like they all add to negative 8. Let's check the third equation. And those all add to 15. So yes, it is a solution. So nice and simple start to this lesson. Unfortunately, it gets a little tricky. So down here in the middle of the page, I have it set up to write out some steps to solving one of these systems. First thing you need to do is pick two equations. Oops, wrong button. You need to pick two equations and one variable to cancel or eliminate. Next, pick two other equations, and this next little phrase is key. It's where people mess up. You want to make the same variable you picked in step 1 cancel, and same variable from before to cancel. Once you do that, you have two new equations with the two new equations from step 1 and 2. Pick another variable to cancel. Let's say a different variable to cancel. And then you'll have the value of one of the variables. Lastly, substitute. To solve for all variables. All right, so I am going to pick these two equations right here. You could pick any two. I'm on step 1. And you can pick any letter you want. I'm going to pick the X's. A couple people today have picked the X's, and it works out pretty nice. You can pick the Y's, you can pick the Z's, but I want those X's to cancel. And those two numbers, 5 and 3, have a lowest common multiple of 15. So let's make this one turn into positive 15x. And let's make this one turn into negative 15x. So let's multiply all that out. Multiply all that out on the second equation. A lot of 15s in this problem. And combine those two equations to make the x's cancel out. We're left with negative 21y minus 22z equals 24. So that's step one. Step two, pick any two others. So I am going to change colors. I'm picking the first equation. Let's do it with arrows. And the third equation. And I need to make the same variable, x, cancel out again. So I see a 5x and a negative 2x. I need to make those cancel out. So the lowest common multiple is 10. Let's multiply the first equation by 2 and the last equation by 5. It's already negative, so I can multiply by just a 5. All right. Now be really clear on what you're writing. It gets really confusing because we already adjusted that first equation one way. So 2 times, and I get 10x minus 4y and negative 8z equals 6. For that last equation, I get negative 10x, 25y, and 15z equals 15. So let's combine those two equations. The x's cancel out. That was the goal. I get 21y plus 7z equals 21. Now I have two new equations. I'm on step 3 up there. The green equation and the blue equation. I need to pick one variable to cancel out, and look at those y's. I don't have to do any adjusting. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you have to multiply by something to get them to cancel out. We lucked out. If I just add that equation to the other, the y's will cancel out. So very convenient. I would say we were just lucky. If we had picked another variable to start out with to cancel, I bet this would not have happened. So I just simply add those to each other, and the y's cancel out. We get negative 15z equals 45, and I know z is negative 3. Now I can plug that z value, that negative 3, into either of the two new equations. It's almost like you just retrace your steps. So I'm going to plug it into this green equation here. 21y plus 7 times negative 3 equals 21. And we know y is 2. Now let's plug those two numbers into any of the typed equations. Make sure they're plugged in right. And we are done. X is negative 1. Z is negative 3. And Y is 2. All right, let's try one more. It's a little easier. It almost looks like there's a typo in it, but I typed it like that on purpose because I wanted you to see everything lined up. And this gaping hole right here, the lack of a Y, does step 1 for us. Step 1 is done. They picked Y. So I need to pick 2 other equations, maybe these 2, and make Y cancel. So if you need to explain that to yourself, since Y is missing, make Y cancel from other 2 equations. All right. I see a y and a 2y. If we were to multiply this by -2, the y's will cancel out. So let's rewrite this one. Copy the third one, as is, no changes. Combine those equations, and the y's disappear. Now, some people get stuck right here because they just don't know what to do. Don't forget, we still have a first equation up here. And it's another convenient situation because, look, I have a positive x and a negative x. We're on step 3. If I combine these 2 equations, the x's will cancel out. So here's the first equation. Here's my new equation. And when I combine these, I lose the x's. And z is 21. Now, if we plug that number into the original first equation, I can get x. And x is -13. Plug those 2 into any of the other 2 equations and we'll get y. So I'm plugging into the middle equation. So I have 42 minus 13, that's 39, so 29. And y is -12. It's a lot of work. You need to focus on the process. You need to practice it, show your work, and you will get a lot of points. But you got to show your work and practice. If you don't get the exact right answer, you will still get a lot of points if your process is correct. See y'all later.